Hello and welcome to the St Kilda and Bayside Report. It is the start of November 2019. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Jeremy Rosens. What a pleasure to be here, Gary.
It's good to be here with you.
Start of November. Where did the year just go?
It ran away, but what a incredible contrast November is to, say, February, March when the year opened. What's going on out there in the real estate world, Mr.
Gary,
Rosens?
it is on fire. I don't mind saying that. Forget boom and bust and all that sort of stuff. It is legitimately on fire. We've just come off the back of a massive weekend, Gary. 26 auctions, and 23 of those properties were sold. And some of them, I might say, Gary, were sold well in excess of reserve
Some of them
prices.
at hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the other thing that's interesting is the volume of bidders out there, Mr. Rosens. And, you know, I think about, 6 months, 12 months, even 18 months ago, we're saying to buyers, jump in, this is your moment, this is your opportunity, because prices won't be subdued for long. And lo and behold, look at that prophecy has come. I wish I could pick the winners of the races as well as I can pick that.
I reckon if you just didn't go to the races, you'd probably be picking a winner.
Definitely be ahead.
I did go to the races during the week, Gary.
You did too,
I was lucky to be invited by a client to the Geelong Cup.
Yes, you were wined and dined and hosted.
I don't know if I was wined and dined, but it was a bit of a, I don't know, it's a bit of a letdown for me.
Geelong Cup's a bit different to the Derby and the Cup and the
I did take an interesting photo on the way out, because I've got a friend of mine who lives in Geelong, and I texted him this photo on the way out of the racetrack. There was a car, a Commodore albeit, on blocks with no wheels and a paint job that was like a patchwork. So I just texted him saying it's been a great journey coming out to Geelong. Thanks for having me.
That might have been his car at one stage anyway. Did you have any luck? Did you have a bet or not? You're not
no, I didn't have a bet, but a friend of mine had a horse running in the actual Geelong Cup, and it came second or third, I think.
Well done.
I think I saw the horse. I saw a couple of horses that day.
Well done. Yeah, you do see a horse if you're down in the race. Hopefully, I've got a share in a horse this Saturday.
No one really cares about horses, Gary, I've noticed.
Order of command might get a place in the Salinger. I hope you
Last time you had a horse running, you were a bit sheepish to tell us, and I heard that you had it running, and we put it on in the office, and I think it finished either last or second last.
This time last year, Stakes Day, that horse did win on Stakes Day last year. So hoping that does something.
You've got to live in the present, not in the past.
That's true. Let's talk a bit about the present and what's going on, what's been sold, because we had a very successful auction in Hotham Street of a townhouse.
We did, Gary. We did a bit of work
129.
together.
We did. It was good to work together, and it was good to have you at the auction.
Well,
good to be.
Good for you.
It was
good
good for you.
For us, Gary.
Good for you to be my assistant at the auction, because I'm usually yours. But we had some fun there.
We did.
We had 3 or 4 bidders, and
we
it
had
sold
3 bidders
for $840,000, well in excess of the expectation, because the quote range was $7 to $770.
So you can assume we had a reserve around that top end.
It was in the range,
It was
inside the range.
It went well past there. It was a good auction too, Gary. Good inside auction.
And there's another one coming up in that building. If you like that building, speak to Jeremy and Daniel Mickmaker, because they can tell you about it. Talking about apartment auctions that went well, 231 Alma Road. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
It's next door to my old stomping ground. I own next door a block of flats. Well, not the whole block, but I had one next door. One of my first properties. But this one was a ground floor, big 3-bedroom apartment, separate lounge dining. Went really well. Competitive bid for. Sale price there, Gary, of $830,000. I think that is a big price for an apartment in East St Kilda.
Again, now we're starting to see properties selling 10% over the range. For those cynics and those that don't understand, they'll say,
for those cynics, you mean for the general public?
No, I'm saying for those people that don't understand the system of quoting versus selling price, we're not underquoting. We're just seeing properties sell beyond the range under competition at auction. So
Isn't
I think
it funny,
it's
Gary, that when we had that lull in the market 12 months ago, didn't hear anything about underquoting. In fact, if anyone would have raised their eyebrows, it would have been an overquoting.
Yeah, exactly right.
But now when the market's run away, we're now the devil in disguise.
Well, we can be a little bit that way, can't we? 2A
Myrtle Street. We have
Street.
Broad shoulders, Gary.
Exactly, big shoulders, Jeremy. 2A Myrtle Street, well, that sold for $971,000.
It did, Gary.
Also competitive, if I'm not mistaken.
And a great little spot there, a cute little house, and I think that is a little bit above the right price, if that makes sense. I thought it was a good result.
Yeah,
strong for the vendor.
Well, hard to buy anything under $1 million, so probably good luck to the buyer to
It
still
is
get
indeed.
in. Now, talking about millions, many millions of dollars have been paid for a property that is an exceptional trophy property in Hewington Road. Take us through that one. Block of flats.
Very privileged and had the great pleasure of
auctioning
that.
Block number 72, I think.
71 or 72. So we've had our fair share lately, but this one was a really exciting one with 10 apartments there. Again, a competitive auction, which is unusual in that space. You don't always, and it wasn't like. Generally, with the blocks of flats, a bit slow going, but they were straight out of the blocks, and it was an inside auction. A figure we can't really talk too much.
What was the range?
4.3 to 4.7 or 4.5 to 4.7.
Yeah, and sold in the range.
Written there,
sold in the range, so it's fine.
So, well, I think you could say it was kind of
in the upper level of the range. 60
so.
Wilgar Street, that didn't make it to auction.
Didn't Gary?
Jeremy, a
Figures
buyer
undisclosed.
whom I know quite well, bought that, and congratulations to them, and well done to the vendor. Had some great pre-auction competition on the sale.
Yeah, great home though.
Fantastic home.
Great
6
home.
Blanche Street.
Sold well in excess of the range. 6 Blanche Street.
Another that one is disclosed. We
It
sold
is
that
disclosed.
one for
That was a great
1,275
auction, Gary.
just last week. Were you there?
I wasn't.
Yeah, but
I was doing one of my
at
own
the same
at the
time. But I know Philip auctioned that, and
did.
well above expectation, Jeremy.
He
which
actually
was around
walked a little bit
115.
of.
Did some work.
He was like the baker.
Handed out. So well, it was very close to the Wood
It
Frog
was,
Bakery,
which is
and
renowned,
it was
Gary.
wonderful to get that one away at such a
sold,
competitive
yes.
level. 304 Dandenong Road. That is a disclosed price. You
That
did
is
do
a
that auction.
disclosed price.
Take us through it.
Not only am I going to disclose the price, Gary, what I am going to say is that a year ago there was the replica apartment, one on top of the other, or one below.
This is a story of the market right here.
Yes, well,
And
it's
the
a story
agency,
of two
maybe.
agents, but I
Could
don't
be,
think.
yeah.
Do we want to talk at
No,
any length about the
let's
other
not be,
agent?
let's
But they're a
not be.
local agent.
Let's not be bitchy.
Well, they sold for 620 privately.
620 or
and,
720?
No, 620 they sold for, Gary.
620?
620.
You
We
sure about
auctioned
it?
on the weekend for $770,000.
So you're
which
talking
is
about 20% more, 150,000.
Well, let's not
Is that
talk
right?
about 20%.
I thought it was 720. Are you sure?
No,
620.
Gary, it was 620.
Wow,
They
so
sold it for
much more we
620
sold it
and
for.
we sold it for 770.
So a combination of the market
Correct.
and the agency.
I think so.
And there's another $150,000 on top of the price. There you go, amazing. Fulton Street, Jeremy, was a competitive auction. I enjoyed doing that in the weekend. Sold for $771.5 to an investor from Hobart, Jeremy, interestingly enough.
Oh, we're getting the investors from Hobart.
We're getting the investors from Hobart coming down to Melbourne, seeing value and competing, interestingly enough. Vendor was from Wagga, buyer from Hobart.
Gary,
Yeah.
interesting story. At the same time that you were selling Fulton Street for $771, I was selling in Dandenong Road for $770.
Yes.
To a buyer from Tasmania.
The Tasmanians are coming.
Yes.
Be careful.
In droves.
We're
They
seeing-
may have been, in fact, he did have a bit of a scar here. Maybe he was joined at the head before he got to that auction and they split him up. Can we say that? We shouldn't really say that.
Well, looks like
well,
you're not going to get much support from that market anymore, Jeremy. And you might need them.
I've made my one sale to a Tasmanian, so I'm happy.
Exactly right. You always have to do that once in your career.
I'm done now.
We've got the Tasmanian investor invader and the Japanese horses invading and taking everything before them.
Japanese horses?
Yeah, well, Japanese horse won the Caulfield Cup and a different Japanese horse
Has the
won the
Caulfield
Cox
Cup
Plate.
been already?
Anyway, 3 at 146 Alma Road, Jeremy. That is disclosed.
I did that auction. on Sunday morning. I think what we can't do, we can disclose it.
$592,000. Again, how many bidders? Yeah,
three bidders sailed past a reserve of 520 and just kept going
off
and almost hit 600.
like a prawn in the sun. Well, that's not really the same off, is it? Because that's a
It's a different
distasteful off. This
Yes,
is an
well,
on-off.
that depends. Some people like off
Good.
prawns.
4 at 50 Balaclava Road. That was a thumping auction.
Interesting
and I
story
know
there
that.
too,
Yeah,
Gary.
interesting story. The vendor had an offer before auction and pondered a little bit.
A good offer?
A reasonable offer.
What we thought was a good
or
offer.
What they thought was a good offer, although it was a bit of an unusual the way the offer was put to them. But anyway, that's another story.
Well, we won't go into that.
We won't go into that.
Gary.
But it's 12.65. I think someone had an interest, even though it wasn't. We don't know how legitimate it was.
Wasn't an offer.
Offer.
It was an expression of interest, we'll
Yeah, I'd say
Gary.
that. And the vendor said, well, no, we're going to go to auction. So
Run the
$1,420,000. Well done for them. And we wrap up with Westbury Street. That was another good auction. That
Yep,
you did.
I did an
with
auction
Glenn
there for Glenn, for some lovely family there that have owned it for 20 or 30 years, a three-bedroom apartment in Westbury Street. Had a couple of bidders there, and on the market sold 665, a good result for all that were involved.
And the Siege in Westbury Street didn't put any buyers off.
What was that Siege in Westbury
Well, the
Street?
interesting thing was we actually have sold something in the block where that person who created that siege lives, actually. And it was
So,
a bit
do
scary,
we know anything about the Siege?
We know that person has had some traumatic as a soldier, has suffered some trauma from a time in Iraq, and apparently he sort of lost the plot a bit and had to get hauled in. But anyway, we wish him
exciting times in Westbury
good
Street.
mental health. And
this guy is not that's not the guy that we sold 2 or 4.
No, he's not. We sold them.
So we don't really need to wish him. I mean, other than just
as
goodwill.
goodwill, we should wish everybody well, Jeremy, because we are in the goodwill business.
He should probably have
we've got some properties coming up.
fixed himself up before he came back to Westbury Street.
We
shouldn't really be
well,
going
no, he'll
on in
hopefully coming
suburbia.
back. Well, people have got troubles, they've got problems in their life.
And
Jeremy,
you and Gary, we've had this discussion, and you just love those people.
that's not true. I don't love them.
You
I
are
feel
like-
for them.
the
I
Empire?
yearn for them.
What's that? The woman
Yes,
who
give us
holds-
your poor, you're sick, you're
I think we should do a meme
Down home.
dress up where you are that
woman.
Dressed up as the...
What are they
called? You haven't dressed up as a woman?
No,
not during the week, Gary.
The last time I dressed
Saturday
up...
and Sunday, that's your main outfit,
The last time I dressed up was the 70s 50th. And I dressed up as Bjorn.
A 70s 50th?
Yeah, it's a 50th.
Right.
70th. It was a 50th with a 70s theme. I actually dressed up as one of the ABBA, because my wife and I and Philip and Irene were the 4 ABBA.
So basically it was like a Saturday night for you.
I sat down at the party, spoke to my father for 10 minutes, walked away, and my father tapped my wife on the shoulder and said, "Who was that lovely fellow who was talking to me?" Didn't know.
That's brilliant.
That's the truth. He didn't know because I had the beard on, the Bjorn, the Benny beard. But anyway.
More importantly, after he had whilst he didn't realise it was you, did he say, "He was a nice chap"? Who was that idiot I just spoke to?
I don't think he ever felt warmer and fuzzy about me than when I was Benny Ulvaeus.
I reckon we need to do
Bjorn,
a dress-up end-of-year function. I've been saying this for a while. I know you keep thinking that I'm angling for a toga party, and I'm not, although I think
you wouldn't say
a great
no.
idea. I think we should have a dress-up party, and I think what we should do is...
What would you wear?
Well, I think it needs to be themed. We need to shout out to the audience to come back with some ideas.
Some themes?
For what our theme should be. What would I dress up as?
I don't even want to start to guess what you'd be dressed up.
Well, it wouldn't be a woman, Gary.
And I'm a bit concerned about this whole dress-up fetish and fantasy that you've got. It's a bit of a fantasy.
It's a concept, Gary. It's a concept.
No, I think it goes a bit deeper than that. I think I
think
spotted you a few times when you were single out there. I didn't want to say anything, but now that you're settled and married with kids,
Gary,
I can maybe bring it up.
Disguise with costume. It's different. When I was single, it was disguise.
Is that right? Fair enough. Well, we'll leave it at that. We'll just leave it in the viewers' minds, imagination. It's not pretty. We've got some auctions coming up. We're in Ackland Streets in Kilda. Don't we love Ackland Streets in Kilda?
How good is Ackland Streets in Kilda,
and this one's
Gary?
a one-bedroom coming up. I know Lamore is excited. Simon Madon's going to be doing the auction.
Yes.
It's coming up on the 9th of November, Jeremy. We're going to be in Clarence Street in Elsternwick as well. Another listing. That's
Gary, this is a lovely little one in Elsternwick. This is a good 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom. It's been neatly put together. I'm looking forward to bringing that to the market with my good friend Daniel Mickmacher.
How about the House of Rock? We're talking about number 1 Buds Lane. What an extraordinary property. If I said to you...
Talk to me about the House of Rock,
If
Gary.
I said to you, my canary has circles under its eyes, would that mean anything to you?
I would say that you should probably, you should see a doctor for owning a canary at your age. And second of all, if you have a canary you should probably let it sleep a little bit.
Yes, well, it's a pier. It's not getting much sleep.
No,
we don't
that's
sleep.
true. I think you're supposed to put a, over the cage, you're supposed to put a blanket.
Sheet or something, so my canary has circles under its eyes was one of the hits for the Captain Matchbox Whoopee Band, who also had, of course, that big hit, Wangaratta Wahine, from their Wangaratta Wahine Captain Matchbox album, which I still own and play and have loved playing over the years to our kids.
You're being deadly serious with this story. None of that is a word of a lie.
No,
those people exist. Those names exist.
Mate, and the singer, or one of the great creators of the Captain Matchbox is our vendor, our client of Buds Lane.
Well, we love him.
We love him, and I love his music.
And I apologise if he's watching. I've never heard of his band, but I'm sure if Gary owns it, it must be fabulous. Every time very unique and niche.
Every time I drive to Sydney, and I make sure whoever I'm with, I turn on my Wahine and Wang when I drive to Wangaratta, because it's a bit of a
just need to make a note to Siri. Don't ever drive to Gary.
Gary to Wangaratta,
because it'll be a mind-numbing
Wangaratta
experience.
Wahine. Come back to the table, Jeremy. Alma Road, 14/64. Michael Jonas is the agent. You're auctioning that one.
I am, Gary. A lovely 3-bedroom apartment on Alma Road, which is a bit of a rarity. Not an apartment on Alma Road, but a 3-bedroom, and it's got a rooftop terrace, Gary, that has beautiful views of the bays and the city. It is a superb apartment there.
Cardigan Street, Jeremy. We're going to be auctioning that one.
Cardigan Street. This one is a ripper, Gary.
Love that address.
Older style ground floor with a courtyard that is as big as somebody's backyard. This one's a ripper.
Talking about ripper properties, we've got another quintessential St Kilda address in Irwell Street that Philip Kingston is going to be auctioning. Can you tell us about that? We've got details behind us.
This is a beautiful older style apartment.
We love it.
A bit of a Mediterranean feel, Gary.
I like that.
You come out your front door and you take, and don't quote me, but say it's 5 to 10 steps and you are on Ackland Street.
Getting a kebab, a shish kebab.
Well, I think you'd probably go a little bit more upmarket than that,
Okay,
Gary,
Nando's?
because when you buy, no, we're going to go to somewhere salubrious like Chicholina, perhaps, for a nice little...
Veludo for drink.
Veludo's is I don't know if Veludos is there anymore,
Of
Gary.
course it's there. Must be there.
And are you thinking of Veludos or no? I don't know what you think.
Vlados,
Gary.
maybe the
That's
second.
in Richmond, Gary.
I'm getting a bit lost.
I love that with
you get
the
a
big
steak,
cow in the background.
Big cow.
That's a great one-bedroom, unrenovated, ready for someone to make it their own in a beautiful old-style buck in the best location that St Kilda has to offer, Gary.
And that's a big wrap on this GPTV St Kilda Bayside Report. We've got
Gary.
one more to go for the year, I think, wwrapping up November,
Can
talking
I
about
just
December.
say, Gary, a big shout out to the St Kilda team.
Yep.
To everybody, to Michael Jonas, to Daniel McMucker, to Limor, to Nikki Genova, to Paige and to Charlotte, because they've had a massive October, one of our best Octobers transactionally, but also
congratulations.
Not only have we, I think it's fair to say with our, I haven't looked at the percentages, but the over-reserve results for our vendors this month have been as good as ever. So a shout out to all of our vendors as well as our team.
And thank you, vendors, for the opportunity of employing us. We appreciate it.
Shout out to you, Gary.
Yeah, why? What have I done?
I don't know. Well, you had your shingle hanging over the top of the door in our office, so that's good enough.
Exactly right. Well done.
Plus, you've trained me to be the agent that I am.
Exactly
Gary, so I'm forever indebted to you.
I'm not sure how good that was, but I'd like to think on balance, it was better. There was more on the good than on the side of evil, Jeremy. I'd like to think so.
Evil? Gee, you took that to
a whole new extreme, didn't I?
What if it's just good and bad? Yeah, evil. Wow,
you are my good superhero. Congratulations to you and to the team. That's a big wrap on the GPTV St Kilda and Bayside Report. We look forward to seeing you next month as we wrap up November and talk about December, which is an action-packed month, and there's plenty of stuff going on already in the listings for next year, Jeremy. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Jeremy. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.